Shalom, shalom. Check the feed real quick. Let me get right into it. All right, con. Yeah, shalom. This your brother Quan Wath with the Great Millstone Charlotte Camp. Coming with another Friday Night Live lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. As you can see by the title of the lesson, man, you know, your legacy in the kingdom, is being written as we speak, man. It's inspired by, the brother Barack Gabar out there in the main camp. He made a video about how, what kind of king are you? What kind of priest are you, man? And it's all these things are being, taken account of, they're being watched over by the angels and reported to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Everything that you do, all the works that you do, are being made record of, man. Everything you go through, the losses you may take, the trials and tribulations that you overcome, all these things are being made note of, so that your legacy, is being established, in the kingdom, man. How you remember, man. Now I'm gonna get this word legacy real quick. So it's the word legacy. It says the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc., that took place in the past or of a person's life, man. So all, the actions that you do, the works that we're doing, all these things, they're being made, taken into account, right? And and they're being written in that book of life. Lord willing, we be of that elect number. All these things will be remembered, man. These stories, about the things that brothers overcome, and the works that brothers did, will be told when we're in the kingdom, man. Now I'm gonna start with this precept that the brother brought out in his video. It says, 1 Corinthians 3:13, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and that fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is, right? If you're doing the works of the Lord, you're going to receive, a righteous reward, man. And that trial, you'll overcome those various trials and tribulations, man. That trial by fire that we all have to go through, and that story is going to be written in the book, man. Just like our forefathers, all the examples that we see written in these scriptures, all these men's trials and tribulations and the things that they overcame were made note of, man. They were taken into account, so that their legacy was established, man. This is how they're remembered. All these great men. Let me get this quick precept. This is Salakia. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 3. It reads, the eyes of the Lord are in every place. And what are the eyes of the Lord, man? The angels. The angels, going into that word, messengers, man. They're the ones watching all these things, man. They're the ones reporting to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai what's going on. All the ups and downs, that's what's being written down. It says, beholding the evil and the good, right? Brothers bring this out a lot, talking about the evil that's going on these days, but it's also beholding the good, man. It's beholding, the sacrifices that brothers are making, man, the work that brothers are putting in, all these things. The angels, the eyes of the Lord, are beholding all these things, man. Let me get that word beholding real quick in the blue letter. Salakia. Verse 15. Okay, this is the word beholding. It says to look out or about, to spy, to keep watch, to observe, to keep watch, spy, to watch closely, man. Hey, man, the angels are observing. They're taking observations. They're making notes. Like you think of you make it. Comparison in the world. They're like a scout. At a basketball game. They're watching how you play, how you operate. And they're taking note of your faults, and they're taking note of your attribute, the good attributes. Everything that you're doing, the angels are taking note of. We want to have that good report. So that's why we continue, to push, to be diligent, because we want to be remembered. We want our legacy to be taken down as a diligent brother, man, a charitable brother, man. All these things, we want all these positive attributes, man. We want to be in have the endurance, so like you know that's how we want to be remembered, man. That's what we want our legacies to be, man. Because that's how we'll be remembered in the kingdom. That's how brothers, stories are going to be written. Their stories are going to be told. When you're sitting down and you're talking to your great thousand times great grandkids, man. The story will be told about the various things you overcame, man. Whether it be, dealing with your family or friends or your work, or even coming into Jacob's trouble. These are going to be the things that you overcame, and that's the story that's going to be told, man. As I'll get in Hebrews 11, going into our forefathers, man. Let's go to. Let me see if it was any more in that definition. Nah, that's pretty much it. We go back. We'll grab this here in Slovakia. Isaiah 48 and 10, because our works are going to be tried. Ultimately our faith is going to be tried, by that fire, that fire of affliction, right? This is Isaiah 48 and verse 10. It reads, "Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction," man. So, brothers is being refined, brothers is being purified, through that fire, through those trials. Brothers is, and that story is going to be told, man. Whatever, things that you go through, it's going to be, it's going to be movie like, man. Every brother's going to have his own chapter, in that book. Lord willing, we be of that elect number, man. That legacy, going back to that definition, the long lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc. The actions that you take, man. The time you spend, building in the ministry, man. The time you spend with brothers, even, the fellowshipping, all these things are, being made note of, man, by the angels. It says that took place in the past, right? Because this is going to be a long forgotten past, outside of the holy days, remembering the Lord deliverance out of this place, man. But those stories of us overcoming these things are going to be written down, man. It says, or of a person's life, right? So brothers' lives, they're going to be, made account of, man. Whether we have done, the work of, you know, we want to have that good report, man. We want to have that good story, that good legacy, man. We want to be remembered, as men who endured until the outside. Uh, Salakia. This is Second Ezra chapter 2, and we'll start in verse 38, and it reads, "Arise up and stand. Behold, the number of those that are sealed in the feast of the Lord, which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received glorious garments of the Lord." And we know scriptures say, "Arise ye and depart." So we're spiritually departed from this world, and Lord willing, we continue to endure. We'll be a part of this crowning ceremony, man. We'll receive those glorious garments, right? It says, "Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of thy children, whom thou longest for, is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed, man. The elect were called from the beginning. The elect were those chosen spirits, those first fruit spirits that were chosen from the beginning, man. Lord willing, we be of that number again, man. You can't say it enough, because we want to take part in that legacy, man. We want to take part, in the building of the kingdom of Yasharallah, man. On that first go around. So like it says, verse 42, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Sion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature. This is going into Yahushua. It says, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly, man. We want to receive those crowns, man. We do all the work we do, to be a part of that crowning ceremony, man, to receive of those crowns, to receive of that reward, right? It says, so asked the angel, and he answered, the mortal clothing of the Most High, crowned and received those. What was it? Salakia. The Isaiah. We want to, endure those afflictions, in order to receive that crown of life, man. Let's go to. We'll go to Sirach 39:1. Because like it said, man, it said those which have fulfilled the law of the Lord, man. We want to be, counted in the number. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1. And it reads, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies, right? And the part of the wisdom of all the ancient is understanding the legacies of our forefathers, man. The sacrifices they made, the things they endured, the persecution they went through, ultimately some of them having to lay their lives down, man. But these stories are written, and they're going to be, told. They're being told now, but they're going to continue to be told in the kingdom, man. And we want to have our stories, be told in the same fashion, man. We want to be, have that renowned name, in the kingdom, man. It says, he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. Now let me look at that word renowned real quick. This is the word renowned. It says known or talked about by many people. We want to have our stories being told, man, by the masses, starting with our elder apostles on down, Lord willing, we're all a part of that elect number, that we have our stories told, we be a part of that renowned, those renowned men, man, so that's why it says keeping the sayings of the renowned men. So they're already, famous men in the scriptures, we keep the sayings and the parables, that we will be there also, man. It says he will seek out the secrets of grave synthesis and the covenant in dark parables. It's like, and be conversant in dark parables. He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he hath tried the good and the evil among men. He will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for his sins. And that's what we're doing, man. We're sighing and crying to the Lord, in the midst of all this wickedness, man. It's like it. Continuing on, it says, verse 6, when the great Lord will, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding. He shall pour out wise sentences and give thanks to the Lord in his prayer. He shall direct his counsel and knowledge, and his secrets shall he meditate. He shall show forth that which he hath learned, and shall glory in the law and the covenant of the Lord. And this is all things that we seek to do, man. You know, and so his name shall generation to generation. Nation shall show forth his wisdom, and the congregation shall declare his praise. If he die, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000, and if he live, he shall increase it. You know, so we want to have that name increased, man. We want to have that great name, in Israel, man. Brothers is fighting, so that we can, have that joint rulership with Yahweh Shai, man. As you read in Romans 8th chapter, all these things we do, the things we go through, they're being taken into account, and that story is going to be told of the man who endured until the end, man. Let me see here. Ooh, this is a good one. Proverbs 22:1. It reads, a good name, it's like a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold, man. A good name, is what we're seeking, man. We want to have our name, be uplifted, brothers want to be those renowned men. It's like it. Brothers want to be remembered, for the things that we went through, for the ministry's sake, man. To build that legacy, going back to that, Let me get a couple examples here. I'll get this in Hebrews 11th chapter. Because just like this is written in here, the stories of brothers is going to be written as well, man. Going into brothers' faith, It's Hebrews 11, and I'll start in verse 8. In my sword it says the faith of the patriarchs, our forefathers. It says by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him. The heirs with him of the same promise. That cuts that that everybody can be saved, man. The only ones who are heirs to the promise come through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Not just Abraham and Isaac, not just Abraham. Jacob. You have to come to be part of the seed line of Jacob, man. It says, for he looked for a city, and that's the legacy of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Everything they did, they did these things in order to forward the legacy, to forward the nation, to forward their name, in the scriptures, man. So that people will remember them, remember what they did, for the nation, man, for their heirs. And we're doing these same things for our heirs, so that they can have part of that inheritance, It says foundation, for he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithfully, who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one in him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the sea shore innumerable. Going into the nation, man. The nation of Israel is likened unto many nations. It says, all these died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, right? Seeing these things afar off, right? Just like we see, the kingdom, the promise of the kingdom afar off, man. Now we understand this is closer than we believe, but we see these things, in the distance. And that's why, we can see whatever we're going through is going to add to our legacy once we receive those promises, man. It says, and were persuaded of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity and have returned. Let me see here. Continuing on, it says, by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. Hey, man, we understand, Isaac being, Yahweh Shai in the spirit, man, but hey, Abraham was tried. That was a test, and that test, he passed it, with flying colors, but he understood, he had faith in the Lord, right? And he had faith that, his legacy would be continued on, and have a great name, It says, so like it, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. Esau got the blessing of the sword, but Jacob got the blessing, of the earth, in its continuancy, man, forever, eternally. It says, by faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshipped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the parting of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones, right? Because he wanted his bones to be, back in Israel, man. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. And this is one of the points right here. By faith, Moses, when he came to years, refused to be called son of Pharaoh's daughter. So this is going into Moses' story, man. Moses' legacy, Continuing on, it says, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, because Moses wasn't the what's the word? I can't remember the word. So like it, the nobility of Egypt. He was in that noble seat, right? And he forego that, man. It says, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater. It's like esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. He was looking ahead, man. We go back to that. Let me see, that 13th verse of the 13th verse. It said they all died in faith, not having received the promises, man. Moses didn't receive the promises, but he could see the promise. He understood that his legacy was being built, through his faith, man. Through his faith and the works, the works he was doing through his faith. Faith without works is dead, the scriptures say. It says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible, man. He endured because he knew the Lord, would ultimately, set him up, in a better seat, than he had in Egypt, man. Let me see here. This is Matthew 11:11, because Moses forsook his seat in Egypt because he knew he'd have a better seat, in the kingdom. You know, Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, they all understood that what they were receiving in the kingdom was better than what they had on this side, man. Now this is Matthew 11:11. It says, "Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, you know, a great estate, man. And the studying you're doing, the research, the fellowship and going to camp, all these things, are being made account of, man. And it's gonna these stories are gonna be told, man. Just like I'm reading these stories, people are gonna be reading, our stories, man. Lord willing, we be of that elect number, man. Um, let me see here. This is Matthew 19 and verse 28. And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit on the throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon judging the 12 tribes. So, Yahushua, right? It says, and every hath forsaken or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or land for my name's sake, shall receive an hundredfold. And part of that receiving is gonna be, you know, the story being told of how you forsook all these things, man, or how these things were taken from you, or how you lost all these things, man. For the ministry's sake, man, for his name's sake, as he said. It says, shall receive a hundredfold and shall inherit everlasting life. But as many are first shall be last, and the last shall be first, right? Because it's going to be a great come up story, going from the bottom to the top. Like much like King David, he went from the fields, tending the sheep, to being the king over Israel, man. That's the greatest come up in history, right? Let me see here. Hold on. I'll get that in a second. It's like it. But yeah, man, we're gonna have an amazing come up, Lord willing. We be accounted worthy, man. And all the things that we lost, things we endured are gonna be, being told, in songs, various, books, you know. That's how it's gonna be, man. Everything that brothers went through is gonna uh, be told of all the things we overcame, man. You know, um, as we read in that second Esdras, man. The men who stood so stiffly, man. You know, understanding what we stood stiffly for, the story is gonna have to be told. Um, this is Matthew 16 and 25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he hath gained the whole world and shall lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with the angels, and he shall reward every man according to his works. So we're gonna receive that reward for all these things that we're doing, man. For the sacrifices, for the pushing forward of the ministry, man. We're gonna receive for those works, man. The Lord is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love. Scriptures say. It says. So like it, verse 28. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom, right? So it's gonna be brothers out here, you know, who lived, all the way through Babylon, through the destruction, and into the chariots, and then went on to eternity, man. And those stories are gonna be told, man. From your youth and on up. That whole story is gonna be told in the kingdom, man. It's being written. You know, I keep reiterating it, man. We got to remember our legacy is being built right now, man. You know, the way people remember you as going back to the brother Barack Gabar. What kind of king were you? What kind of priest were you? How were you in the kingdom, man? How diligent were you? How much did you push the word? All these things are going to be made account of, man. It's like it. Um, let me see here. Oh, look, it's Hebrews 9 and 6 and 9. It's like it. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and things that come salvation speak for the most high and rights to forget your word. The angels are telling them all these things, man. The eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom, beholding the evil and the good, man. So he's beholding the good that brothers are doing, and even the bad is the bad word as well. But the Lord he's not going to forget that, man. Now, desire that everyone assurance of hope until the end, right? So what kind of king were you, man? What kind of servant were you? What kind of priest were you? Were you diligent? Were you diligent unto the end? He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved, right? It says, verse 12, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises, man. And that's what we want, man. We want to inherit those promises. We want to take part in that kingdom, man. We want to take part in that everlasting dominion, right? We want to have our names remembered. We want to be, seen as those renowned men. Every brother wants to be a part of that governing body at 144,000. We want to be those famous men. That's what we do this work for. We don't want fame on this side. We want fame in the kingdom, man. We want that legacy. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 8. And so like it. Oh, you know what? It's Romans. So like it. Romans 8. Romans 8 and I'll start at 16. This is Romans 8 and 16. It reads, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the heirs of the Most High and joint heirs of Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So the Lord, he made that great sacrifice, thinking about legacy, thinking about the kingdom, thinking about the nation, right? Thinking about the heirs, who the promise will be passed down to, when you're thinking about your legacy, you're thinking about how your decision making is going to affect, your heirs, man. It says, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Man, whatever you're going through right now, can't be compared to the promise. Can't be compared, as it says, to the glory, and that's why we continue, think about, how your decision making is affecting your legacy, man. How it's affecting your story, how it's affecting how you'll be perceived as a king, as a priest, going back to the brother's lesson, the whole inspiration for this lesson, was that brother's lesson, man. What kind of king are you, or were you? What kind of priest were you? Because we're all going to be kings and priests, but what kind of priest or king were you while you had the chance, to ingratiate yourself with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man? You know, were you diligent, man? Were you brotherly? Were you all these things, man? Were you patient? You know, let's get this real quick. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44, and verse 1. Yeah, starting verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us, right? So we, we have a great sense of renown, for the men before us, man, for our forefathers, That's why when scriptures say the things that were written before time were written for our learning, it's the stories, of how they overcame things that were written for us now. The brothers, are going to be written, to be read in the kingdom, man. It says, now let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdom, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies. Man, leaders of the people by their counsels, and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions. Man, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing, rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times. Man, look, man, this is what we want. This is what we want. We want to be remembered like this, man. Right? Just like we have a renowned respect for our forefathers, we want people to have renowned respect for us, man. That's why we continue to be diligent out here, man. Fight through the adversity, right? Keep pushing. What's the alternative, right? You could give up, but you're not going to be renowned. You're not going to be remembered fondly. It says, verse 8, have left that their praises might be. You left the name behind you, man. The works that you did, your past, contributed to your legacy. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. But these were merciful men, whose righteousness has not been forgotten, right? These men's righteousness was not forgotten. The book is not big enough, to have a story for every man right now, man. But when we get, full understanding in the kingdom, we're gonna remember all the stories of all these renowned men, man. Like it says, these merciful men whose righteousness has not been forgotten. Why has it not been forgotten? Because the angels saw it and took account of it, man. They made record of all these righteous men, man. It says, with their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Man, let me see how it's. Yeah, we'll go down to 15. It says, reading 12 again, with their seed, verse 11, it's like it. With their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes, because they remember, right? Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their name liveth forevermore. Do you want your name to live on forever? Do you want to be that joint rulership? Right? Continue in the work, man. Understand what you're fighting for. Understand that, everything you do is being, made note of, made account of. You know, your legacy is being written down, man. Everything that you've done, all the works that you do are being made note of, right? They're not going to be forgotten, right? You have to continue to endure, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved, man. You got to endure until the end. And like it says, your works will not be forgotten, man. Their righteousness, it says, but these were merciful men whose righteousness hath not been forgotten, man. So you won't be forgotten. You'll be remembered. You'll have, just like it's written here, you'll have those stories written about you, man. You know, it says, the people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise. You know, that's what brothers is fighting for, man. Um, Salakia. Let me see if I had anything else. Um, mm, mm, mm. No, I had something else. Let me see. We'll get this. This is Matthew 10, and I'll start in 32. Because the persecution that we're about to face, that's going to be made note of as well, right? And the brothers who overcame that persecution, right? This is Matthew 10 and 32. It reads, whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I also confess before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Right. So again, the Lord is making note of the men, who are out here sighing and crying in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It says, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came to send peace. Let's say I came not to send peace, but a sword. Right. The Lord's about to bring great death to this place. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Right? This is going to be part of some brothers' stories, man. You know, losing out on your family, man. Your family hating and coming against you, man. Them turning you over to authorities. All these things are going to be a part, of that ministry, let's say, of that story, that's being written about you. It says, "He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me." Man, it says, "And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me." And brothers picking up that cross every day, it's being taken into account. That's being jotted down in the in the book, man. Okay, that brother picked up his cross. He bore his cross, today. You know, he put it down when he got back home. He picked it up again that next morning, man. Every day. Brothers bearing that cross is being made note of, man. It says, whether it be infirmities, whether it be various plagues and things of that nature, man, whether it be mentally, whether brothers are fighting demons, all these things, are you bearing that cross, and continue to, push forward, man. And the Lord, he looks upon that fondly, man. Right. And some brothers' cross is going to be laying their lives now, for the ministry. Right. But as scriptures say, precious in the eyes of the Lord is the death of his saints, man. Right. It says, and whosoever, actually, it's like Matthew 10 and so like 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. Right? You lose whatever you have on this side for the sake of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Right? But you continue to gain, you should pray to the Lord to make sure he's dealing with you, man, because if you're constantly, increasing on this, it's not a good, you want to be going through, trials. You want the Lord to be testing you. You don't want to be, looking to heap unto yourself treasures on this side, man. Right? It says, "He that receiveth a prophet," actually, it's like, "He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me." Right? We receive Yahweh Shai, and if we receive Yahweh Shai, we receive Yahweh, man. That's our connection to the Lord, to the Most High. It's Yahweh Shai. That's what that sacrifice was, man. He's that mediator, right? He's our connection to the power, right? It says, verse 41, "He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give to drink," and this going into uh, you know, brothers and sisters who believe but might not be out here teaching, man. Brothers and sisters who give whatever you can. Whether it be tithes, whether it be time, whether it be prayers, all these things. Is you giving up. Like unto you giving a cup of water, right? Like I read here in Matthew 10:42, it says, "Whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones uh, a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall no wise let me see. Verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward." It's like it. Let me read from the top. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. Right? So you're gonna receive a reward as well, right? For the things you give. Like I said, the prayers. Prayers of the utmost importance, right? But all these things, the sacrifices that you make, the things you go through, right? Though you might not be teaching, the angels are still reporting, your good deeds, man. They're still adding to your scouting report, right? It's like, oh, this brother did this brother did this. All these things are being added to that book, man. It's added to your legacy. Adding to, how you'll be remembered, in the kingdom, man. Right? Let's see. Did I finish that? The second is slide it. Because again, we want to take part in the crowning ceremony, man. Oh yeah, let me finish this out. Salakia. It's back in this book of Second Ezra, chapter 2, and verse 45. I'll start in 44. So I asked the angel and said, "Sir, what are these?" He answered and said unto me, "These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High. Now they are crowned and receive palms." Then said I unto the angel, "What young person is that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands?" So he answered and said unto me, "It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. They began," man. Look, man, that's what's being remembered, man. You confessing Yahweh Shai, in the land of where he has been crossed out, man. It says, so he answered and said unto me, "It is the Son of Man whom they have confessed in the world." Sorry, the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Let me look at that word "commend" real quick, man. because we want to be commended, right? You want to be commended for the work that you've done, right? Let me see. Commend. It says, it's like command that reads, praise formally or officially to present as suitable for approval or acceptance. Man, to be acceptable or pleasing. We want to be receive that praise, man. Right? You want to be commended for the work that you did. Let me see if there's some more up here. It's like it. Cause that's pretty much the same thing, to receive praise, man. You know, let me look at some synonyms here. Uh, no, it's not really nothing up here. But yeah, man, like that first one was the best one. It said to praise formally or officially, man. This is the most formal thing you can have. Is to get have to be commended. For the work that you did, for standing so stiffly, for enduring unto the end, man. You know, verse 48, it reads, "And the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell thy people what manner of things, and how great wonders of the Lord thy power thou hast seen." Man, so that story had been told, that prophecy is gonna come to pass, man. You know, and the men, who endure are gonna be commended. They're gonna receive those crowns. They're gonna receive those palms, man. You know. Let me see here. Let's go to Slovakia. And the importance of a crown, man. I did want to get into a lesson on that, but I can just touch on it here. You know, a crown, represents that status, man. It represents the house. It's gonna be, Yahweh Shai gonna have his crown. King David has his crown. The 144,000 have their crowns. The elect have their crowns. The innumerable multitude. The remaining 1/3, and then everybody else, the vassals underneath. Not I can't even say vassals, man, because all Israel is gonna be kings and priests, man. But each man is gonna have crowns, man. And the crowns, represent the household of Israel, man. You know, and that's the name, right? Each brother, and then whoever's under you, you know, they're gonna be, coming in, in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. You know. Um, Let me go back to this. Slovakia. Let me get that. And then we can close with this. I don't want to make it too long. I think the point's been made, right? All the works that we're doing are being remembered, man, and they're contributing, to the legacy that's being built for us in the kingdom, man. And all these things are going to be remembered, right? Everything you went through, all the adversity, even the ups and downs, right? No, there's no good story, without a comeback story, right? You know, if it was all highs, there'd be it wouldn't be a good story, right? So seeing you come from the bottom, that's what's gonna make your story even greater, man. Right? Let's see. This is. Whew. Slovakia. Oh, I'm in Chronicles. That's why. This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 9. I'll start in 24. Actually, I'll start in 23. Okay. It's First Corinthians chapter 9 verse 23. And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you, right? For the good news, we do, this is what we do as well, man. We do all these things for the good news to receive of the promise, right? Regardless of whatever, afflictions, persecutions, trials, tribulations, we do all these things, for the sake of the gospel, right? It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain, right? And we want to we want to obtain, man. We're all fighting for that penny, right? As scriptures say, right? And you want to continue to run that race, right? You want them to tell the story of how you overcame the different hurdles and obstacles during your race, man, right? It says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. You know, temperate being, discipline, man. You know, it says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Hey, and look, I'm gonna read. It's discipline in their training. They for an eternal prize, man. And, doing all this for eternal land, for eternal rule, uh, for our names to be written eternally, man. Those who stood so stiffly, man. To have that renown in the kingdom, to have that fame, as the men, who stood against Babylon the Great, to be, that the 7,000, that didn't bow the knee to Baal, that 7,000 being just a complete number, man. To be a part of that, man. To be in those voices that uh, chanted down Esau, Edom, man. That went out and prophesied against the most wickedest kingdom in empire, to ever face the earth, man. We want to be remembered as those men, man. We want our legacies, to exemplify that, man. Just getting that word legacy one more time before I close out. Let me see here. Hold on. Select it. Okay. It's that word legacy. It says the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc., that took place in the past or of a person's life, man. And like the example said, it says, well, not the example, ain't really that. But the point, man, a long-lasting impact of particular events, actions that took place in the past or of a person's life, man. We want to have that eternal, lasting impact, man. On our families, on our heritage, on our heirs, on the nation, all the works that we're doing, so that we have an impact, in Yasharala, man. So, that's the point. I pray Allah was edifying to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. I'm going to close by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who grew well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. And shalom. DT song.